Welcome to my channel. Please enjoy the video.
What is going on, my tea sippers? I am back with another video. Well, it seems that your guy Lil Boosie is taking some heat off the public from Duke the Driller's murder. And social media outlets and bloggers are throwing hot flames, and they ain't playing no games when it comes to Lil Boosie and his involvement with Duke the Driller's death. But it seems, tea sippers, that some bloggers are taking the situation a little bit too far. Saying that the feds are now in on Boosie's ass and Lil Boosie has caught an indictment. Tea sippers, I want you to take my word for it that information put out is false and not true. At least not at this moment. Now, tea sippers, let me just give you the smoking gun of this whole situation. I'm gonna break it down and then I'm gonna be done until further updates come about with this story. And these are the facts and nothing but the facts. Like I explained to you guys in the very beginning, Lil Boosie himself invited Duke the Driller down to Texas to purchase a piece from him. Duke the Driller was only in town to do business with Lil Boosie. He didn't come to play no fucking dice game or go to a concert. And this is why I'm going to state this. Remember, Lil Boosie says that Duke told him, "Can we follow you to the concert?" Duke the Driller was not invited to a concert. He was just there to do strictly business with Lil Boosie. And on top of that, tea sippers, this was not a party. A gambling game, shooting dice is not a party. Like I stated, tea sippers, this was nothing but a distraction. And this was part of that very setup. Now, once again, tea sippers, stay with me. Duke the Driller was under the guise that Lil Boosie was going to buy some jewelry from him. And once again, guys, that picture of Lil Boosie and Duke the Driller was nothing but a promotional photo. So thought Duke. And I want you guys to take a look at what transpired. Just the night before, there was a dice game. And then the very next day, there was a concert. Now, remember I stated to you guys in earlier videos that I've done on this topic, Lil Boosie was going to purchase the piece from Duke the Driller after the concert. This is what he told Duke the Driller. And there was no way in hell that Duke the Driller left all of his Louis bags with his diamonds and his money at the actual hotel, because Duke the Driller was going to be flying or driving back out that night. And in my opinion, tea sippers, the bags were inside of the truck, not the hotel. Because if you guys can clearly see from the video, Duke the Driller had all of this money he was counting out. And I highly doubt that he left his precious jewels at the hotel. And how did he get the money to the hotel? Of course, they were inside of the bags. I believe he had one bag with him and one bag was in the truck. Remember, he had 2 Louis bags. Now, Lil Boosie claimed that he learned about Duke the Driller's death just an hour after the concert. At that particular moment, Boosie says that him and his entourage were in the garage and they heard gunshots, meaning Lil Boosie was there when Duke the Driller got killed. So you mean to tell me that Lil Boosie and his entourage sped off when they heard the gunshots and didn't go out or drive out and see the crime scene? And let's talk about who was shooting the video, the actual video that showed Duke the Driller laid out near his truck. Guys, believe it or not, actually, the garage was pointed the way that Duke the Driller was laying, and they were up on the upper floor. And in my opinion, that person that recorded the video was in the right place at the very right time, and I believe that they were actually involved. However, it has never been confirmed at this moment who actually shot that video, but I find the video highly suspicious and highly questionable, because it seems whoever shot the video was at the right place at the right time and got a clear shot of Duke the Driller laid out on his back. Now remember that Boosie stated on Vlad TV that Duke the Driller told him, "Can we follow you guys to the concert?" So if he was with other people, why was Duke the Driller actually walking to his truck? He was going to his truck to get the other bag. That's just my opinion. And where were the other people? Why was he all alone going to his truck? Clearly the setup. And like I stated to you sippers from the very beginning, they made sure Duke the Driller was in a secluded space and he was going to be alone to be robbed. There was to be no other witnesses, especially the so-called witnesses that were with him. And as we clearly heard Lil Boosie say out of his mouth that Duke the Driller was supposed to make him a piece. So did Lil Boosie give him a down deposit on the jewelry, or was the piece already made? Because if Duke the Driller was set up and robbed, Lil Boosie had paid him some money, at least half then and half later. I believe that he told him he was going to give him the whole sum amount after the concert. And I'm going to stick with that narrative, guys. And not only that, I believe that the piece had already been made. Because if you guys think about it, Lil Boosie told Vlad TV that he had just met Duke the Driller that night, but he never stated who actually invited him to the gambling game at the Airbnb home where Lil Boosie can be seen in his drawers, taking a promotional picture with Duke the Driller. And I believe that is an eye-opening statement and a question that Lil Boosie himself needed to answer to Vlad TV, or at least to the public. Who actually invited Duke the Driller to this dice game? And actually, who invited Duke the Driller to Texas to be around Boosie? So it is very clear to me that Duke the Driller came out to Texas to do business with Lil Boosie. Lil Boosie had already known him and had a relationship and kept clear-cut communication with him via Instagram. And even on his cell phone, they actually have each other's numbers. And this is coming from my source, not from Sweet Tea TV. Well, it seems, guys, with the update that goons are taking Duke the Driller's death personally into their own hands due to sources. And shout out to CEO TV. I'm going to play a clip, guys, of a guy who was actually at the concert, and they came in and tried to take Lil Boosie's jewelry. They actually entered the stage, and they were trying to rob Lil Boosie at his own concert. And for that little reason, guys, Lil Boosie's concert was actually shut down.
They're trying to get his chain, man. The DJ wasn't having it. He tried to tell him to watch out before the whole thing started, man. And that's when they turned the lights off and Boosie dipped off backstage. And they made an announcement saying everybody got to dip, man. Everybody got to leave in the hallway. And they're going to exit the building one by one, basically. And so, literally, the fact that the whole thing with Duke happened is the reason why a lot of people was trying to get Boosie's show to be stopped, man. So nothing like this happened again. So they try to grab Boosie's chain and ring. They try to grab the microphone. They were fighting over the microphone, and his ring and bracelets almost slipped off. But basically, they try to run up and get Boosie's chain, and that way they could get back at least something for Duke's chain being missing. They were trying to go chain for chain and everything, but it didn't turn out like they expected. Basically, everybody ended up getting kicked out, booted. Like, they're all in the street. Nobody got their money back for the show. They all spent, it was like $200 ticket and everything like that. And so the fact that the guys came and like literally snuck around Boosie's security and literally jumped up on stage, that's crazy because they were slipping. Like, they should have been on Boosie protecting even longer and everything like that, because they don't want nobody to just walk up. Like, you got to understand that at these backstages, everybody look like they somebody's entourage, so somebody ends up slipping through the cracks and like they got their chain and everything. They look like another rapper, so they're able to get through. And when you go backstage, nobody checks the people that are coming from backstage through that back door. They all think that they're part of the crew, they're part of the show, so they make it so that nobody gets checked. They don't check their little fanny packs that they be wearing nowadays. They don't check that, and so somebody could have pulled something in there, and you never know when if they take the chain and they put it in one of them fanny packs and run out, it would be never found again, man. Just like how Duke's Louis Vuitton bags was never found again, and that's where it had everything in it. Like, it had over $1 million in jewelry up in that Louis Vuitton case, and that's one thing that was missing out of his truck. When they went and searched his truck, they knew that it was something missing out of there. So the dudes try to go backstage and get Boosie's jewelry just because of the fact that those one guys that came up and did that to Duke, they thought that it was something to do with Boosie, even though that they don't know whether Boosie did nothing or not. And so they were like, either way, we got to get something back because this was over $1 million that Duke and them lost. So they tried to go get Boosie's chains backstage, and I don't know why, but somebody let them in the back. Like, they really forgot they were looking at their phone, and somebody literally just turned the corner and went in the room. And he got access to the closet, and in the closet was where all the rollies and the baguettes, the Cuban link diamond chains were. And so they tried to get the big 504, the big New Orleans chain, and so that's what made it. So the posse that Boosie came with, they were slipping too. Like, they were all off the Henny, they were all off the Douce and the Remy. So they didn't know that somebody had like literally got back behind and tried to get one of Boosie's rings, watches, and chains. Like, you guys gotta understand that they were slipping. Like, the same reason why how Duke was slipping, these guys were slipping too. And somebody literally almost went and got Boosie's whole jewelry case out the dressing room closet when he was on stage. They would have never known that it happened. They literally wouldn't have known that Boosie's jewelry was missing until after he got off the stage and went into the dressing room to find out himself. And those guys, anyways, they're long gone, bro. They hopped back in, went back on the road, and they took off, bro. Because you gotta understand that a lot of people is like upset and criticizing, calling out that Boosie did like he may have known this person, known that person, and you already know people was already talking about his cousin. They was talking about how it could have been a setup and a backdoor since they basically made it so Duke had to park by himself and everything like that. So the dudes pulled up and they already knew Boosie was in there because they see his car in that parking lot in the VIP, and the security somehow had them slip through, and basically that's how the guy that jumped out went into this backstage, and then he ran the whole mission right, and found the chains in the closet and everything like that, and he ran back out to the parking lot, and still at that time the LA people had no idea what was going on. So he ran with the jewelry case back into they hopped in a big old SUV with the, I think it was like the Trackhawk SUV. They hopped in that and skirted off, man, with all the Boosie's watches and chains and everything. They got it back for Duke. And so basically what you gotta understand is that everything that was in that Louis bag, they ended up getting back. And so the main thing is that what you gotta understand is that everybody's always gonna try to get something back. Like if you ever lose something, someone's gonna try to get it back, or they're gonna try to even it up, and it's like chain for chain or whatever like that, man. And so it's still out there. The chains are still out there, like some of them. And basically they knew that it had to be getting back. Like they know that these chains are gonna move around. Like maybe Boosie was wearing one. The piece that the guy was gonna give to Boosie anyways, that's gonna end up to Boosie somehow or one way or another. Like the guys who took it ended up selling the Boosie chain back to Boosie, and that's how he ended up getting his. And then they try to come back and literally take it in the whole back of the concert, the next concert that Boosie went to. That's why all his shows been canceling, and they canceled half of this concert too because everything happened like halfway through. And so that's why everybody, like, they don't want to have no Boosie concerts because they think that something's going to happen with the chains, or it's going to be some type of revenge or retaliation for Duke093. You got to understand, that's real life. Like, stuff like that happens all the time. Man, people don't know, like, the things that happen in everyday, like, that doesn't get talked about or don't make the news. There's people out here who real life getting, like, things taken every day and stuff, and they're trying to get it back. Like, dudes be